Welcome, Red Spotters. Another audio commentary in our series. I'm your host today, Alexis J. Soto, and I'm joined by Peter Martinez,
Hi,
Lira, Alexis Moreno, and David Francisco. How are y'all doing today?
Good.
This is our audio commentary for Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. Well, shit.
here we go.
Yep.
All right. Narration time. Episode IX. The Rise of Skywalker. Get ready, guys. The dead speak. The galaxy has heard a mysterious broadcast, a threat of revenge in the sinister voice of the late Emperor Palpatine. It's a clone. General Leia Organa dispatches secret agents to gather intelligence while Rey, the last hope of the Jedi, trains for battle against the diabolical First Order. Meanwhile, Supreme Leader Kylo Ren rages in search of the Phantom Emperor, determined to destroy any threat to his power. ... Wow. That was shit.
I want to go to David first of all because he said something that made me laugh in one of our previous attempts to record this, so if people are aware of this.
Now here's David with the weather.
David, so what is it that went through your mind when those first words, "the dead speak," happened?
I mean, I think it was the same reaction as all of you guys, which is just, ugh.
Here we go.
Yeah.
As soon as those words popped out,
Yeah.
just like complete like big sigh.
Especially because at that point I realized, oh, the leaks were completely true.
Oh shit! You were holding out hope up until that moment.
Yeah, basically.
Oh no!
You were in the stages of grief. In this case, it was denial. Okay, so this is supposed to take place in Mustafar. This does not look like Mustafar. It looks far off from Mustafar.
Did you get the quote unquote in canon explanation for why Mustafar looks that way?
God, do I even want to know?
Well, since it's a commentary, I guess we should mention it. First of all, this looks like a fucking holocron. Why you would call it a wayfinder when you can just as easily call it a holocron, I don't know. But okay. So this location is apparently right behind Darth Vader's castle. And those people were worshippers of Darth Vader that Kylo Ren just cut down. And the reason why Mustafar looks that way is because it's going through, I don't know, climate change. Something like that. The planet's reverting back to its original form.
Okay.
Or some sort.
I don't know.
So all that that all was there in a scene that was like what, 30 seconds?
They could have just said it's J.J. Abrams directing this, and he only knows how to do either desert, jungle, or snow planets. And since lava isn't part of one of those three, he just sort of made it look deserty.
Like this one.
Like this right here. It's just a giant desert.
This is like a desert that's at night.
Yeah.
Oh my god. It's so sad when you put it that way, Peter, because yeah, you're right.
The man just has no creativity and like a single creative bone in him. I don't know what's wrong with him.
Okay. I would have been okay with him directing the film, but writing the film, that's a completely different horse.
I don't know if I agree with you because this was directed horribly.
I like the beginning of it, like the transition from the Wayfinder to space, the way he flew around
I
that cloud.
just don't like the backstory.
Yeah, it's just
like,
the
once we get to the
backstory.
backstory,
I think it's more than that. The pacing is horrendous. This thing moves way too quickly. Like, way too quickly.
There's the obligatory Darth Vader, James Earl Jones cameo right there. Yeah, I think the pacing... to me, that's where it begins to just kill me. And I remember we were, I think, not even 20 minutes into the movie the first time we watched it, Peter. And I think I might have turned over to you and I'm like, I'm tired.
Yeah.
Like I think you can almost get whiplash by how, quickly this thing it's called intercutting, but in this sense, it's like intercutting to the extreme. I've never, I think, experienced a big film like this that is cut so quickly back and forth. And what makes it worse is that all of the things that it's cutting back and forth from suffer as a result because of the intercutting. Not that they were good in the first place, but it just makes it so much worse that it's just so, like, I don't know.
It moves too quickly, and
Benny Hill.
Benny Hill, and I just get exhausted at the end because I don't remember anything that happened. The Emperor's back, guys. The dead speak.
Did he actually lift all the ships using the Force?
By the way, don't question.
Wait a minute. Is that what's supposed to be implied?
I assumed.
I keep hearing that from like everyone who hates this movie. It's like he lifted up 1,000 ships or something. And I was kind of like, I'm pretty sure they went up on their own.
They're on. They obviously, like, he didn't lift them. Maybe you could say he used the Force to turn them on. I don't know, but they're obviously on.
Does it really matter?
No.
None of this matters.
Okay, going into this movie, like, I want to speak about like sleep patterns and sleep science for a little bit. There comes a point in your dreams where you hit deep REM sleep. Yes, Alexis looks shocked. I don't know if anything else.
Oh God, who cares? So I'm not talking to you. I'm talking about Palpatine. Talking about who is she?
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
But like, this is the point where like you start your sleep and you go into like this slip of a nightmare. And that was when we were finding out all the leaks and all this stuff. Yeah. And now right here is just like the tail end of the REM nightmare that we're having. Oh, and they're playing the thing because
remember, it's the holodeck.
Get it?
All of the leaks were confirmed within 5 minutes of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. I mean, and honestly, that
those
scene,
3 words,
right? But that scene that we just witnessed with Kylo Ren and the Emperor, what the fuck was that?
I like the slug.
Yeah.
I love Claude.
Yeah.
Claude the Slug, MVP of the movie.
There's little things sprinkled throughout the film that I really like, but they're there for 2 seconds and then it flashes by to the next thing, and I don't care overall. But you know what I hate? I hate, especially with blockbusters, it feels like all of them just go for likable characters. And it's like, that's just not good enough. Like with all of them, in this film, it's like they're quippy and they're fast moving and they make jokes, and it's like, but I don't connect with any of them. None of them have an interesting story, but they just try to be the bare minimum likable and nothing else. And it's like,
we were just talking about this yesterday. The Morenos and I were talking about how Ryan gave Poe and Finn, and among others, but they give those characters. They give them character arcs to go through. And it's telling that JJ at no point had any attempt for either of those characters in either of the movies that he made with them.
No, because his whole goal was to rewrite the movie using Reddit and make this movie.
I don't give him that much credit. Reddit would have made a better film. But no,
I mean,
but
the Duel of Fate script that's out there.
We can't just always listen to the fans. Come on.
Yeah. No, but like, I've read some quotes from both him and what's his name, his co-writer, Chris Terrio, and it's not good. Like, I know JJ said, like, I just write, like, I don't think about what I'm writing.
Clearly.
And it's like, I can tell, like, I didn't think he would actually say it out loud, but like, I can tell, like, he just sort of writes. And then, and he tried to make it sound like magical, like, whatever meaning I want to believe is there, came subconsciously or whatever. But it's like, okay, so you just don't think about anything. You just write it and that's it. And then Chris Terrio talked about how, like, every day they were completely rewriting the script from, like, shooting day to day. And
that's not a good sign on any movie.
But both those things were quite obvious in the film. I will say, like, today
we're going to be doing this.
This little section where they're jumping to other places is fun.
Mm-hmm.
In isolation, this works, but when you put
Yeah.
it up against the rest of the cutting of the movie, it
This should have been like its own action scene, but it's like 2 seconds, and then we're on to the next action scene, and then we're on to the next action scene. And I feel like JJ's action never pops, like it's never memorable, because I've seen this film like 3 times now, and like every time I've seen it, I'll go like, oh yeah, that did happen in the movie. That's right. Like I forget.
Guys, let us take a moment of silence for this utter character assassination that is Rey.
Oh, they're gonna say BB-8. How dare they? They
I
ruined
thought you were going to say
BB-8
Carrie
character.
Fisher. I so agree with you, Peter, because the only, I think, real sequences that I recall are the lightsaber duel in Force Awakens and the first time they used the Falcon in the Force Awakens.
Yeah,
But even
Okay.
then,
they're still a little. This
To talk a little bit of what's happening on screen, I know it's hard to do, but like might as well write Leia off. The dialogue that they have the characters give to, I'm putting in quotations, Leia, it's like, should I do this and this and this, and it's like such vague dialogue.
you
that
can
it just,
tell
it-
that they're pulling it together.
It's super obvious.
why is this important? Why are we cutting to this?
I was just about to say
Because nostalgia.
what's you can really tell, the directors and writers for that matter, between like this is JJ when he thinks about Jedi training. This is it right here. It's a goofy action sequence that adds nothing to the story or the character, and then when you look at the training sequences from The Last Jedi, and it's all about like character and personal relations and emotions, and it's like a lot of people talk about how the films feel so different from each other, or they talk about how The Last Jedi didn't pick up the threads, or that this film did that. In all honesty, I don't think story-wise they're that different from each other, all these 3 films, but just the direction itself is that's what's so vastly different. And you can tell that each of them have very different goals as far as the film goes. It's interesting.
Well, the thing that I liked about the training sequences, particularly with The Last Jedi, that was really interesting, is that it's all improvisational, and the way that the methods, like for example, Luke, he just sat Rey on a rock and just felt the earth, and that was his like Jedi training that he did. And then you go back to something like the first Star Wars, in which he puts a blaster shield and probably like a target game that he just threw up in the air and was starting to like blast lasers at him. That was like improvisational in that standpoint, and that like it's just a made up thing that goes along. You know, it's not meant to be just like a standard Jedi training. That's where George Lucas really got it wrong in the first place with look at all these children doing the target thing that Luke did.
Yeah, there's just kind of meaningless. One of the things it's just another example of just how fucking boring this film is they split the lightsaber up in the last film, and I'm like, oh, there's a lot of interesting things you could do with that. What did they do with it? Nothing. It's fixed in this film, and then that's it. Okay.
Like the interesting thing that you could do with the lightsaber in this way of it being split,
you know what's
is
annoying is they know, because they do it at the very end of the film.
okay, but like it could represent like both sides being unstable, like Rey being unstable, and like her
There's
and
so
then-
many things.
and then yes, like so many like visual metaphors that you could do that were interesting, but nope, they freaking taped it together with Gorilla Glue and shit like that.
In Colin Trevorrow's script, Rey was supposed to be romantic with Poe, and I hate that so much. So that's one of the improvements I think this film at least has, because oh god, I don't know, I just would have hated that.
I honestly, like, Disney and Lucasfilm have no balls. Like, Storm Pilot should have happened.
Yeah, it should have, but I mean, China, even though they don't see
And
these fucking
Russia
films.
and all those homophobic countries. I mean, the reality is
Yeah.
those things don't happen because big markets are going to either cut out big parts of the movie, but if you make those characters, then
You can't cut
what
out half the
happens,
film, yeah.
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 Then the movie won't be released, and then that'll result in billions of dollars lost. So that's why it doesn't happen.
No balls.
Oh, there's Rose. Hi, Rose. Bye, Rose. Never mind.
Yeah. That Star Wars Episode 9. Hi, Rose. Bye, Rose. She's in it for like 1 minute and 17 seconds, right?
Oh, God.
Like, somebody kept track of how long Rose was in this movie, and it was exactly 1 minute and 17 seconds.
By the way, everyone, like, JJ had to have known this, okay? Everyone made fun of him and said that he would just make Return of the Jedi 2.0, and then he still went ahead and made Return of the Jedi 2.0. And I actually think he went out of his way to try and not make Return of the Jedi 2.0. That's what makes it so sad. Like, I don't think he tries to do this.
He even has the damn rebel base on a jungle planet again.
That's what made me so mad. It's like the same thing with Jakku. It's like, why put your lonely hero on a desert planet that looks exactly like Tatooine and then call it Jakku? Like, in The Force Awakens, it was the rebels on a jungle planet with vines everywhere, but it wasn't Yavin 4. And then here, they're on a jungle planet with vines everywhere, but, it's not Yavin 4. And it's like, why? Why?
Well, in The Last Jedi, it gets blown up.
Yeah, my issue isn't that they're on a new base. My issue is that it's another jungle planet.
Yeah.
Like,
when it could be completely something like a meteor.
Yeah,
or
they could be hiding
like
inside a giant meteor. It could be a variety of things, but it's like always the same. Like, when The Force Awakens first came out, I've said this so many times, but I was so happy that they used, at the very least, that they used a desert planet, a jungle planet, and a snow planet, because I'm like, okay, we've seen these, they've done them, now we're going to see a variety of new shit in the next films. And it's like, oh, JJ, he got another film and he put another desert planet that looks almost identical to Tatooine, a jungle planet that looks identical to all the other jungle planets, and then another snow planet. Like, zero creativity with the locations.
Right, and that's where we get with The Last Jedi. And again,
Hi, Rose.
it's going to
Bye,
sound
Rose.
like... Yeah, exactly. But when you go into The Last Jedi, you get like an island.
Yeah, the island is really cool. The casino planet, I know people hate it. It's really cool. And what's
the salt planet?
Yeah,
the crate is just visually gorgeous, and you could do stuff like. And he did like red salt and all that stuff.
Yeah, the red salt with the crystals. It's interesting. It's visually interesting and it's different.
Yeah, versus this, it's just like we're still sticking to the same old like original trilogy thing, and that I think that. I don't know, like, again, with The Force Awakens, like, there's an excuse to do that because it's all similar, and you kind of want to...
You're hitting the nostalgia buttons on purpose.
Yeah, and you want to ease people back into Star Wars, and so Force Awakens has a free pass with that, but by this point, you should get, like, a gas planet and then dealing with stuff like that, but instead, no. And then we got the same shot from The Force Awakens, except that the surrounding Rey and Leia is a green screen.
I'm surprised he didn't do, like, Cloud City.
He did.
When?
I think it was in this movie at one point. In the end of the movie, right?
What is?
Cloud City, literally.
Yeah, no,
at the
Cloud
end.
City is in it.
No. He didn't do a planet like Cloud City.
I mean,
oh yeah, but
but he literally showed Cloud City, so I don't give him points for
Also, the Forest Moon of Endor at the end of the movie because we had to.
Like, look right here, it's literally a monkey fucking forging a mask while a bunch of the boy band in black watches. Like, I should be into this shit.
This is so stupid to me. Like, even bringing back, like, Darth Vader's mask, like,
why?
It's pointless. Like, literally, the end of the movie was, like, him letting go of the past, and now it's like, never mind, JK.
A viewer gonna
we
show
just had a
it?
whole scene. We just had a whole scene of the mask being rebuilt. What was the point?
If you were gonna show the Vader mask, it should have been like Kylo Ren chucking it into the garbage chute because he just doesn't give a fuck anymore. Like, that's the only reason why you should show it again.
But no, he's like praising it.
Oh,
are you talking about Vader mask or his mask?
Vader mask.
Vader mask.
Okay, but what about his mask? It shouldn't have been in the movie, I feel.
Yeah, it shouldn't have been.
No. 100% no.
Also, what was the point of, like, touching the mask, though, if, like...
He doesn't worship it anymore. It's weird.
He actually just found out, like, he never heard his voice at all.
Yeah, he just found out. That's the thing. There's, like, revelations in this film, but, like, there's no time for them to, like, for it to hit the characters.
Land?
Like, when he heard that should have, like, broken him. That these voices and the fact, oh god, I'm still pissed off that it's literal voices, you know, instead of anyways. But yeah, he should have had some sort of emotional reaction to it, but no. Oh, I was gonna say, my theory is director, what's his name, the new guy they added, he is literally just added by J.J. Abrams because he's pissed off that Rian Johnson turned what's his name? Pasty Boy.
Oh,
Hux, because he turned Hux into a joke. Because literally everything that the new commander does, Hux could have done. Like, there's no reason for that new commander to be there. But I don't think he liked the fact that Hux was a joke, so he just decided to kill off Hux real quick.
David, we just talked about this yesterday in the recording. I mean, we just talked about this. I mean, I love what Ryan did because Hux was much more memorable. It was much more memorable as a punchline than just like a vanilla, like, Nazi youth guy.
Yeah, and, you know, Peter just said it too. Like, Hux still could have done what that other commander was doing. You know, it could have been like, you know what, I'm not gonna mess with Kylo anymore. Just like
they could have done both stories combined. Like, he still could have worked with the good guys.
No.
But, like,
you could have had
Hux.
You could have had Hux betray Kylo to Palpatine.
Yeah.
And it would have worked perfectly. Like, because that was
so
his whole
ridiculous. Thing. And, like, he was a good, like, even in The Force Awakens, like, I thought he was pretty good. Like, I liked him in The Force Awakens. Yeah. And, like, obviously, The Last Jedi, like, he was really good in that movie.
I will say with The Force Awakens, I kind of couldn't take him seriously as being intimidating. And I think Ryan felt that, too. Because then in The Last Jedi...
he turned it into, like, a positive thing.
Yeah. Because it's interesting. I like to describe him as the Starscream of the Star Wars universe. He's just kind of the second in the command that gets kicked around, which is perfect. It's his thing.
Like, I like the whole, like, character motivation of, like, him, like, he doesn't care if the rebellion wins, he cares if, you know, Kylo loses, but, like, elaborate on that, do something with that instead of chucking him out of the movie, like, at the midway point, you know, because that is a very Hux thing to do.
Yeah, of course.
Because he is a freaking snake, but the way that
I can't take him seriously with that mask.
Oh, and like before...
You can't take any of this seriously. And I think what Peter just said, you know, should really color a lot of this movie in a different light. Like, we acknowledge, at least Peter and I do, that JJ, you know, is being truthful when he says that he didn't go out of his way to undo every single decision. But when we're talking about something as minor as JJ killing off Hux and undoing what Ryan did with Hux, I understand with some people why this movie comes across as petty from J.J. Abrams, because really?
And but just to preemptively say this, a lot of people claim that with The Last Jedi, and I don't feel that way with The Last Jedi. So I understand a lot of people will be like, well, you know, JJ only did it to Ryan because Ryan did it to JJ, and I don't think that's true.
No.
Yeah. I feel like Ryan really built.
I don't think it's true in either case. I don't think JJ went out of his way to.
I don't think JJ was malicious at all in this. No,
I don't
think that's. I think JJ's a nice guy. I don't think he's like that.
You know what? I'm gonna go as a far of a stretch to say that I think that he was like yes, I do believe that he did respect it, but I think that he was so blind and like inconsolable rage, jealous rage.
I think that
this is the byproduct of it.
I don't think there was jealous rage at all. No.
I think it was.
I think he's just stupid.
I think he was just pressured into doing what.
I don't even think he was
right
pressured.
now.
I just think this is
not
just...
like pressured by like the company or whatever, pressured by fans.
No, I just think this is what happens when you give JJ the ability to make a film. It's just because when you look at all of his prior work, including The Force Awakens, even though The Force Awakens was better, like this is just kind of what he does. These are the kind of movies he makes. These are the story decisions he makes, the creative decisions he makes. This is easily the worst one by far, but it's not like it's a crazy stretch that this is what JJ came up with, especially in the short amount of time he had to do it.
I mean, it doesn't help that you have a crappy writer like JJ and you pair him with the guy that wrote BVS and Justice League. Like,
yeah.
who thinks that was a good idea? God.
Poor Billy D. I was so excited for Billy D. And they do nothing. He's an exposition.
It's still one of the best parts of the movie, though, for me, at least.
At least he's there. Yeah. I love the way he says Chewie. Hey, Chewie. I don't know, just the way he says it. It's so fun.
He's 81 in that, I think.
81 years young.
Dang.
Another disappointment factor later when we get him coming into with the Millennium Falcon. It's very disappointing that he's still wearing the same shirt that he wore when he was 23.
Oh my god, I hated that so much. But you know what it is though? At the very least, it's comforting to see that Billy D. Williams has aged really well and he's still got that smooth suave.
Oh hell yeah. Like this looks no different than Tatooine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
this
sorry.
Is like the third desert planet within like how long far are we in? 20 minutes.
And like I feel like something like Rogue One, they had that Jeddah as a desert planet, but when I looked at it, I didn't feel like I was looking at Tatooine. With this one, I feel like I'm looking at Tatooine.
Was because Jeddah had everything that was different. The geography was different.
Yeah. Plus, it was mostly in like that city, that like city that went up. Yeah, I don't know.
But there was actually interesting like sculptures because the mountains actually were like they looked as if they were like fallen Jedi statues.
There was history to it there.
And it wasn't lit like Tatooine as well. You know, it was like more like bluish and all that stuff. But here it's just like standard flat yellow, and that's it.
No, I think Rogue One's a much better film than this.
This is another thing. I feel like JJ, all he does is just throw chase scenes at the screen, and it's like the same kind of chase scenes. Because like this, why isn't it the Knights of Ren doing this?
Yep.
Why is it another faceless stormtroopers doing this? The Knights of Ren are there. They have cool weapons. You could do two cool things action-wise. You can grow them up to be intimidating.
But instead they were chucked, and usually, wasn't it the Knights of Ren that took on Luke Skywalker's Jedi school and destroyed it? I mean,
wasn't the plan originally that the Knights of Ren were part of Luke Skywalker's original students?
They changed it.
Okay.
In the lore, the official lore is that they were part of Palpatine's plan all along,
which is stupid.
Yeah, it's so much lamer. Palpatine did it.
Speaking of plan, no, this trilogy did not need a plan from day one. What you need what you needed was somebody to take the reins and do something different and unique while also telling a story that would make sense in the confines of Star Wars, you know? And that's why J.J. Abrams fails miserably, because I don't think that he understands what Star Wars is. Versus Rian Johnson, he gets the rudimentary, solid meaning of what Star Wars is, you know. And here you just see
Star
a guy
Wars
who
is different things to different people. It's this isn't what Star Wars is. I get what you're saying, but like, to me, I just feel like you got to qualify it, because there's just so many different things that Star Wars is now, from like the Clone Wars to the prequels, and they're all very and you know, the video games, comics, and they're all very, very different from each other, but I would still qualify them all as Star Wars. So
yeah, I actually just recently finished a book, Star Wars Lost Stars. I don't know if you guys heard of it.
Oh, the Claudia Gray book?
Yeah, I recently finished that, and it's completely different from Rian Johnson's or from Clone Wars. Oh, I mean, I would say it's close to Clone Wars, but you know, I really liked the book because it was different from anything else I've seen before. So to say, you know, this is Star Wars. This is Star Wars. It's really pointless. I mean, you say what you want.
It's a difficult thing to qualify. Like, I usually qualify. How do I put it? To me, this film, like, I say something like, JJ really loved the original trilogy, but I think Ryan understood the original trilogy, and I mean it specifically as far as like what those films were trying to do, so far as, you know, being mythical fairy tales with imperfect characters and diving into all, you know, the mythos and even the subversion of expectations. Star Wars very much did that a lot in the original trilogy.
While also paying homage to like stories that these artists fell in love with before. Like, obviously, like George, he was a huge fan of Saturday morning, you know, serials and all that stuff, and that's where you got the original trilogy with, and that was like a love letter to that. Jon Favreau, you know, he said that, you know, one of his favorite movies is The Seventh Samurai and all that stuff, and he...
Oh my god,
yeah.
Star Wars has referenced Seven Samurai like a million fucking times.
And so he really went full force
in the cartoons.
Right. Akira and different anime is what Dave Filoni was into, and so that's what he inserted into the Clone Wars. I mean, you could see, like, you know, homages of things like this. With his Star Wars movies with J.J. Abrams, I can't tell what his inspiration is other
this
than
fucking dagger right here.
It's other Star Wars. Yeah, just what Kyle was saying. I feel like, and again, I've never directed a big budget film, so I could be talking out my ass. But I feel like the best thing to do if you're a director in this situation isn't to look, and you're making like the 8th or 9th film in a long series, isn't to look to the past films for inspiration, but is to look to the films that inspired the series initially. You know, don't look at A New Hope for inspiration, what you want to do next, because you want to move beyond that. Look at, like you said, Seven Samurai and a lot of these old serials that inspired George. Watch those
Flash
and be
Gordon.
like, and from there be like, okay, what inspires me from that, and then just kind of put a Star Wars tint on it.
Yeah, like for example, I would definitely do a spy-esque Star Wars. Oh God,
we know you would. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, but like
you could
like
write
that.
The real adventures of what's his name from Canto Bight, with the red palm bloom.
Yeah, you get the encoder,
the master code breaker.
Master Code Breaker, yeah. I mean, we could definitely do something like that. I mean, again, but here you just like, you don't know what the root of, you know, your passion is with this.
I'll just say, this big snake looks real cool, and I like the big snake, but like, There's just so much things individually that I should love, but when added together in this film, it just don't work.
Yeah. No,
like a big puppet snake.
Okay, I would like it too, but it's exposition scene of the force healing.
I don't care about force healing. Force healing, I think, is fun. What are you saying, David?
To go back on the whole planning part, you know, people were saying were using the prequels as an example, and they were like, "Oh, see, this one had a single vision, but the prequels still suck, by the way." So
yeah.
I feel that speaks for itself. I just want to mention real quick. I don't like the force healing. That's actually one of my big things in this. Like, to me,
really? Okay.
that just turns the force back into a superpower again, which is not what I think I associate Star Wars to be. So I just think that element, like, it destroys the stakes if Jedi have the ability to just heal flesh wounds like that. That, to me.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me as much. If the way they used it is dumb. If they had used it better.
Like, I understand bringing in new elements into the movies, but like the force, what is it? Force Skype thing, like, that's fine because we were learning as the characters were learning about it.
Yeah.
But like the healing, it's like, oh, she already knows.
Oh
so
yeah,
it's
healing.
like,
It's a normal thing to do.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't know.
In the ninth film in the nine-movie saga, they just introduced at the last moment. Oh yeah, that would have been helpful so many times.
And what's weird is, like, she has the Jedi text, so you can say, like, oh, this is the old ancient technique of force healing that I just learned. It could be something like that.
To me, it just bothered me that she wasn't, like, weakened by it at all.
Yeah,
just
it shouldn't be that easy. Like,
well, here's another question.
You're alive.
There's so many questions in terms of logic, but Rey especially, right? So how is it that Rey couldn't sense that she didn't kill Chewbacca, and then when they're on the other planet, the snow planet, like, from further away, she can sense Chewbacca's life force or whatever?
You know, I have to say, rather unfortunately, recently I've been watching a lot of James Bond films, and this film has the structure of a James Bond film. So, and with James Bond, it's fine because it's not about, like, character development. It's about the fun espionage, right? So, like, you hop from location to location. You meet new characters, new wacky characters. They give you exposition. Something action happens. New area, exposition, action. And that's kind of what this film is. This is why I keep saying JJ should do a James Bond film. I think it would be really good.
But then you dive into something like the Craig era, and Craig actually, you know, that era actually lent him, like, something deeper than that.
Well, I wasn't saying that, but actually, I need to rewatch those. Obviously, I haven't seen them in a while.
What exactly is the plan
it's just
here?
Plot.
What is she trying to do? Why aren't they just escaping? She
She's
could have
trying
just
to
gotten
kill
away.
him, stab him in his
They want a cool fight, that's why.
Yeah.
But it's like, whatever.
Stab. Oh, they caught Chewie. Oh no. If only this film had consequences.
I actually, like, didn't remember that part in the leaks. So when he died, I was kind of like, please go with it. Just do it.
And again, this is what I mean. Like, as a character, if this actually happened, her decision at the end to, like, run away to the island would make sense. Because she could go, like, my power has inadvertently killed one of my friends. But
like, and even then, like, it wasn't that impactful, I guess, like, his death.
No, he died
because we all knew that it wasn't gonna happen.
I think the thing is,
we all knew
if that death stuck in terms of how it was executed in this movie, I agree with Alexis. That wouldn't work for me.
Well, the way it was executed, no, because he dies, they get over it 2 seconds later, and then 4 seconds later, you found out he's not actually dead. You find out he's not actually dead before the characters do. So it's like, when they're mourning him, it's just, well, why should I care? Because I already know he's still alive. Like, why are we doing this?
Like, okay, for example, I'm okay with the legacy character dying if it boosts the plot. Like, for example, when Han was killed in The Force Awakens, that boosted Kylo Ren as a character.
It helped it immensely, yeah.
Yeah, and that was like one of the most emotionally driven points of what drove him insane, kind of, in The Last Jedi. And if Rey kills Chewbacca accidentally, and like her questioning, you know, not her place, which that was where we were in the last movie, but like her position of power, because this is her newfound power and she has like full grips of it. What does that mean for her?
Mm-hmm.
That would have been a completely interesting thing to do with your character, to kill off Chewbacca in such like that, in such a like striking way, to use that as a character boost for Rey.
I cringed so hard at this moment right here with the damn lightning coming out of her hands. I hated it. I hated it so fucking much. I still do.
You know why I hate it? Because it makes it seem like, again, being part of the dark side is hereditary. Like, force powers are hereditary. Like, the only reason she's able to shoot lightning, it's hinted at in this film, is because she's a Palpatine. Which, again, which brings
but
down...
in actuality, you're supposed to like have years of training before you can even know how to summon that kind of power. Like, it just, that's not an ability that can be passed down.
And even then, I feel like to be able to do this, I mean, with me at least, I feel like you would have to be like super, super, super into like the dark side, you know?
Yeah, you'd have to be super evil, not just kind of frustrated.
There were plenty of Sith Lords that couldn't even do it. Darth Maul couldn't do it. Asajj Ventress couldn't do it. Darth Vader couldn't do that ability. Like, only a certain few could know how to do that.
Okay. But not to be that guy, but I'm going to be that guy. There's an in-canon explanation of why he couldn't, like, harness...
I fuck canon. Canon is banned from this from this audio commentary. It's because of his suit. The reality is they just never invented it when they made the movie, so they just had him force choke, and it wasn't until the last movie that they used it. And the reason why they used it is because the Emperor was just supposed to be some space wizard. That's why he shot lightning out of his hand. And this is I'm gonna go.
Well, he's also supposed to be someone that's a bigger villain than Darth Vader.
Yeah,
someone more powerful,
he's a
just
bigger
so you can
evil.
have that, just so you can lean more in towards Darth Vader becoming a good guy, and not just like.
But the thing is that I would be completely okay with her using Force lightning because she's tampering into like stuff, because she is kind of still untrained, even though that she's
not
completely
tampering.
okay with
She was just a little frustrated.
Yeah.
I think the clear insinuation is she can use lightning because she's a Palpatine, which is really stupid. Look, we already know he's alive.
Can I mention something else about with Hux here?
Yeah.
Ryan said this in his commentary that he intentionally made Hux look a little bit older because he didn't take him too seriously, in part because he looked too young in The Force Awakens. So I think they thin his hair out a little bit in Last Jedi. He looks younger in this.
They give him, I think, the 70s mutton chops a little bit.
Yeah,
like his sideburns.
Right,
not mutton
8,
chops.
yeah.
Sideburns are longer.
Right, and here it's just basically right back to The Force Awakens. It's that same thing with, remember how the character of Black Widow was tossed back and forth between Winter Soldier and Avengers: Age of Ultron? How basically Joss Whedon just changed like Natasha's hair back to the way it was in the first Avengers because he didn't like how it was in Winter Soldier or something like that.
Yeah.
But you could have had her hair in a bun, and that would have been cool, and just do something different like that.
Two rebels 5 feet apart because they're not gay.
Not gay.
Oh my god.
Guys, we really need them to see them interact with girls because we really need to show the audience that they are in fact not gay. No, see, you're touching hands. Now you gotta touch a girl's hand. C-3PO was great in this film.
The best part of this movie was Anthony Daniels, hands down. He was great in all of this.
C-3PO was awesome. Oh, and that whole emotional thing, it's like we found out right before that Chewie isn't dead, so I don't care about your rousing emotional
This is literally right out of Empire Strikes Back. That sequence right there of that's the whole Boba Fett chasing the Falcon to Cloud City. Because of course, right?
And like this,
I like Dio,
but I just feel like they threw so much at the wall, and we're just hoping at least half of it stuck. But and some of it did stick. Oh, God, like Dio and 3PO in a lot of this, but there's not nearly enough of it, and the rest is just a mess. Dio is funny though.
He's us.
Peter, talk about that dagger, because we kind of sidestepped that.
Oh,
sidestepped a lot of stuff.
Do we have to?
That has to be like the worst MacGuffin I've seen in any film ever. In part because it's just blatantly stupid, and even the story that it wants to tell and how it got there or what it's supposed to do, it makes no fucking sense.
Well, that's what I was insinuating earlier when I talk about this film is mostly plot. They add so much plot in order to just keep the movie going, and you have no room for character. And one of the ways that they keep the movie going with so much plot is like, okay, you have to go get the Wayfinder, but we couldn't find the Wayfinder, but we got this dagger, but we lost the dagger, so we need to go get the Wayfinder, but no, actually this dagger has a secret, so we need to go back and get the dagger again. And like, yeah, when you actually start to break down and think about the dagger, it makes no sense, because the dagger has the little pull-out knife that's able to like pinpoint the
location of the Imperial Vault in the Death Star.
Of the wreckage, though. So that means that this dagger was made after the wreckage of the Death Star. So someone went to the Death Star, saw the way the wreckage was, made a dagger out of it, but they also had to know exactly where the Wayfinder was. Why would this dagger be made? Like, what would be the point of this?
Also, how would the Death Star even stay in one location with waves and oceans? They move.
Yeah.
And I know this is really dumb, nitpicky shit, but when your film is literally just plot, then all I can focus on is just the plot. Especially when all the extra stuff around said plot is really fucking boring or lame or just not well followed through on. Yeah, the dagger, and why is there Sith assassins? Why not just send like the Knights of Ren? What even is a Sith assassin?
You also talked about how by the time we get to the quote-unquote last lightsaber duel, the saber had been used, and Rey and Kylo had used it so often that we were just tired by that point. It didn't make an impact.
It didn't mean anything. With the original trilogy films, they used the lightsaber very sparsely. So whenever it comes out and it does anything, it's like a big deal. And of course they didn't really follow through with that on the prequels, but the prequels I think were very different films. Plus I don't really like them. But they followed that logic in Force Awakens and even more in The Last Jedi. But here, like, she lights that shit up every 2 seconds. Oh, yeah. There's the Knights of Ren to do nothing.
Here's a John Williams cameo right here somewhere.
Yeah. And I like a lot of these designs. Like, look at that mouth. It's beautiful.
I don't think there's been a single Star Wars film yet that has failed in terms of the creatures. It's ugly.
It's so beautiful.
There he is, John Williams.
The creature designs are awesome, but it's like, stop moving for 10 seconds.
Like, even I love the creatures in Solo. Those are really the best part of the movie for me.
The creatures in Solo were awesome. And at least in Solo, it wasn't moving at 50 miles an hour, so you could kind of like soak in the atmosphere of whatever place they were at.
Babu Frick is the only saving grace for me in the movie.
Oh, Babu Frick. There's several good things about this film. C-3PO, creature designs, Babu Frick.
I like the character of Zori Bliss. I wish we had gotten more of Zori Bliss.
I like Zori Bliss's design.
Mm-hmm.
Like very Power Rangers-esque.
Yeah, it's cool with the guns.
I think Jana was just completely useless in this movie.
She was
useless.
She should not have been in the film. But you know what's... okay. there's things about what's it called? Trevorrow's script that I hated, but there's also parts of Trevorrow's script that I really love.
The Duel of Fates, right?
Yeah, the Duel of Fates script, which was gonna be his episode 9, and the like Finn leading fucking stormtrooper rebellion, perfect. That's exactly what his arc should have been, and that's what they had in the film.
But here's where like Duel of Fates, I think, is better in terms of like the overall arcing story of what the sequel trilogy is going for, and that is that Rey still remained a nobody.
Yeah, but they still made there be a connection. Like, they just can't let shit go. They can't just go like, okay, she's away from nobody.
But you already have a connection to the Skywalker. It's called Kylo Ren. Why didn't you? Come on.
Did you? It's so.
I'm getting angry. I'm sorry. I'm literally getting angry.
Babu Frick is great. But it just seems like both of these directors couldn't just go, okay, we already have the revelation. Now let's just now it's all about the characters. Now it's about the character work. Now it's resolving these issues. They still felt the need to insert more shit that wasn't necessary. Like in the Duel of Fates, it was that Kylo Ren actually killed Rey's parents, and it's like, why? And then of course here she's a Palpatine, which is more like, oh God,
it wouldn't
why?
have made any sense.
It wouldn't have added anything. Like, they already have an interesting connection. They're already interesting characters that are intertwined. Like, push that further. Don't create a more like useless plot, useless revelations that won't add anything except fucking take up time.
One quick thing here, because since JJ went out of his way to remake Episode 6, he could have at least recalled that in that movie. There was something that C-3PO didn't want to translate because it went against his programming, and then Han was like, fuck you, translate it. That's all it took. And then here we have a whole like side quest because 3PO is forbidden to speak Sith or whatever. He can't read it.
Apparently what's his name had asked JJ to kill 3PO, and JJ said no.
Anthony Daniels?
Yeah.
Really?
He wanted C-3PO to die because he's like, this is the last time I'm playing him, and I don't want anyone else to.
Yeah.
When the actor has more balls than the director. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow. I would have been fine with that.
I would have cried. That would have been a moment.
Yeah.
There's artworks from Duel of Fates of like C-3PO holding R2 in the rubble of like some battlefield, and they're both kind of like
dying,
scuffed up.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, God, this would have been great if like C-3PO sacrificed himself to save R2 or some shit like that.
Oh my God.
Oh, that pisses me off, dude. And it's like,
this is why this film just makes me angry.
That sucks because aside from being like obviously like George Lucas's character, like this is like his character, like he made this character his own. He has the right to decide where his character is going. Like,
I don't
think he has a right per se, but
that.
I mean, there's input for that. I mean, because the whole Mark Hamill situation. I do think though, because with Anthony Daniels, his entire career has just been C-3PO. So yes,
that's what I mean. Like
right.
he should 100% be able to decide where the fate of his own character should end up in. And like,
I don't agree, but I do agree with his. I agree that he should have died. I agree with Anthony Daniels, but I think it's more complicated than just saying the actor should decide anything, because a lot of actors for characters want really dumb shit. I don't know. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, and Chewie's there too.
Also, there are some shots that I do like in this movie, but again, just because it looks pretty doesn't mean the movie is pretty.
Oh, like me?
I don't think any of that was true.
You don't think I'm pretty, Kyle?
No, I don't.
Ooh woo.
I'm a major component of everybody is beautiful in their own way.
Kyle-san? Wait, what shots do you like?
There's a couple of shots that I really like in this movie, but again, it just because it looks pretty.
But what shot?
I can't recall a single shot that I like in this movie.
I can't either.
Because I forget it even exists, so I can't think of a single moment where I can pick a shot out. I mean, it looks cool.
I'm a sucker for landscape shots.
So Tatooine.
No, not Tatooine. Even
he has to kiss the girl.
Abrams
Now we know for sure he's not gay. Mission accomplished, guys. He's got a case of the not gays. Now we just need to write in a female friend for Finn, and we're all set. Not the one from the last film. God, no. We'll write in a new one.
Oh my god.
He needs a new female friend.
Like when the three of them were in the cave together, there's one shot that I really liked in there.
Okay.
By
the way, I forget every time I see this film that Jonna even exists.
Who?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I always forget.
Lando's daughter.
Oh, okay.
By the way,
let's find out.
It is so creepy.
Wait, that was legitimate?
Andy,
You forgot?
I forget that she exists.
No. I mean,
like
David, that was a serious who?
No, I don't know names.
He was making a joke.
No, I just don't remember names. That's it.
Yeah,
Once he explained it, I was like, oh yeah, okay, her.
Oh, okay.
But it's like real creepy because they don't explain. Like I know that was their original idea, but he's just like, who, what about your? I don't know if he says parents or like, what about where you're from? She's like, I don't know, and he just gives her the like.
Let's find out.
It's like, let's find out, and it's just like it's pretty damn creepy. Like it seems like he's hitting on her.
Yeah.
Like.
Like daughter or not, that's like an old man hitting on a young
And
woman.
I feel like that was not intentional. It's just Billy D being Billy D and how
his sexual energy is just too much. And I guess the one thing that
Oh, by the way, these shots, everything like in here pisses me off. Thanks fucking coronavirus. This month would have been the month that we would be heading to
Disney.
Disneyland. And just like reminding me of like shots that are in the ride itself, it just like pisses me off.
The Rise of the Resistance is the real episode 9.
I think it was almost just kind of like poetic in a way that the timeline for Galaxy's Edge takes place during Last Jedi or right after Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker is not canon in Galaxy's Edge.
This is so okay. This angers me so much. This angers me so. I need it because this doesn't make sense both from a creative point and from a financial standpoint. Why was Galaxy's Edge not in episode 9?
Why was it not in any single Star Wars movie, show of any sort? I mean, no promotion for it whatsoever.
Why? and it's like you should have started episode 9 with them on at the Galaxy's Edge place. I don't know what it's called. Batuu.
Mm-hmm.
You should have, because
literally, I think Jakku was premiered during Star Tours, wasn't it? Like, didn't they do that first?
Oh, really? Yeah.
I think
so. That's for all the films, though, that they show. They add that shit before the film comes out. But like, how cool would it have been? Like in the lead up to the film, you do the Rite of Resistance, and it's like, oh, okay, it's about you guys. Oh no! In Rise of Resistance, they're escaping, right, from Batuu, or something like that.
They're escaping from a ship.
Yeah, an Imperial ship.
But at that point, the Resistance is on Batuu, right?
No. They leave the rebel base, right?
They leave a rebel base and then get taken to a New Order ship and then try to escape from there.
Yeah.
But doesn't the Resistance
Jakku
use...
Isn't
not Jakku, Batuu. Galaxy's Edge.
No.
I could have swore the whole thing is that they were using Galaxy's Edge as like the base for a while.
Mm-mm.
I'm gonna Google this, and if I'm right, I'm taking away your Disney card.
Wait, Batu or Galaxy's Edge is a rebel base?
No.
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
Am I right?
But
Yes. Yes, it is. Because I remember one guy that went there. Whenever a new like stormtroopers or Kylo Ren walk by, all of like the cast people, they're like hiding.
Scared.
They're all scared. They're hiding their stuff because it's stuff for the rebellion.
Yeah. Yes. Batu was a rebel. That's where they went after The Last Jedi. They used it as a rebel base.
So then it is in the movie.
No,
it's not.
No.
They
It is a rebel base, but it's never used at all in any of the movies. But
it's
I'm sure
never
you can
used
find
in the
it
movies.
This is so confusing. I hate this.
After the events of Episode 8, the place they go to hide is the Black Spire Outpost in Galaxy's Edge. But Moreno was thinking that what you were saying is that the planet that we opened the movie Episode 9 on, with the rebels being... She's thinking that you're saying that was Batu in the beginning of Episode 9.
I'm saying it should have been Batu.
Right.
They should have still been at Black Spire.
Right.
And that's where you would have started off the film, with them at Black Spire. And you could have actually shown, like, synergy, my people. Like, it would have been real cool to see... Imagine you're a kid, you go see Episode 9, it's like, oh my god, wow, Batu. And then you go to Disneyland, it's like, holy shit, like, this is... I saw this in the movie, like, this is incredible. I don't know why they didn't mandate that they used the planet for the film. I think that's so weird.
It's such a huge oversight, and honestly a stupid one. And that was just... It's an easy promotional device to use. How do you...
Yeah, so easy. Plus, you already have a set built.
Also, not to debunk, to completely throw your conversation away, because continue, but I like the idea of them hopping back and forth between locations using their force bond.
I don't like the way it's done here, but...
I mean, I like what it could have been, not what it was. I'll just leave it with that.
We just found out that her parents were killed because she's a Palpatine.
Her clone parent. The imperfect clone of Palpatine, whatever it was. But Peter, what you were saying, they had the design, the concept art for Galaxy's Edge back in 2015.
Yeah,
they didn't have to wait for it to have
easy.
been built. They could have just easily put it in as an actual set in one of the movies, or even in The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian, for Christ's sake, you would think would use that as a location.
Season 2, hey, guess what? No one's at Disneyland right now. Fucking get some shots in there of him. Just have him in the suit. Have some characters walking around, there, and then just use it in the show. It's perfect. You just need a couple shots here or there.
I'm the spy.
I'm the rebel spy. So stupid.
There's like a bad Photoshop picture of you on the screen.
You know what? Both I feel like JJ and Trevorrow kind of missed is in both the scripts they changed Rey's parents from being just like deadbeats that didn't care about her to loving parents that were murdered and taken from her.
Hold on a minute. Another thing that pisses me off. I was so excited in the earlier rumors of this movie to see a Rambo C-3PO with Chewie's crossbow and go ape shit and everything. And we see it for a brief second right here, but it's nowhere near the potential of what that could have been. Oh my god.
I thought they were gonna do fun shit with that and just have C-3PO go kind of crazy.
This scene is one of the worst ever. I hate it.
I really hate this scene. I hate everything. Honest to God, even from the first time we saw the film in theaters, I had to keep from laughing whenever he says, "You're a Palpatine." I feel like that's the funniest line in all of Star Wars.
You're a Palpatine.
You are the weakest link.
You
Goodbye.
have his power. I mean, It's also
Shut up.
It's also just stupid because even if this is supposed to be meant as a big reveal, again, the movie shoots itself in the foot because there were at least, I think, several big clues that this was hinted at, or if not given away. Like the opening of the movie was like, what did Palpatine say? You don't know who she is, and then he smiles. Gee, I wonder what that could signal. Like it was, even if this could have been actually saved for a big reveal, but it was given away in the top of the film.
Her being connected to literally anything or anyone by any means is the most uninteresting shit in the world to me.
I mean, as a concept, but then they picked the worst person to actually be connected to. Imaginable, Palpatine.
But I can't imagine her being connected to anyone else in any way.
No, I'm not saying that either.
It being interesting.
I agree, but I'm saying that the single worst person to have connected her to was this.
Yeah,
I didn't want a connection established whatsoever, but this is easily the worst of them all. It's like, I don't understand like what people were thinking that this is going to be something like special. You're basically just ripping off the ending of the last trilogy.
I do like this sequence.
Okay, question cool. For all of you guys here on the panel. Would you guys prefer this version or Colin Trevorrow's version? And don't say neither.
I didn't really read much onto Trevorrow's version.
Trevorrow's version has higher highs, but I also feel like it has lower lows. With both of them, I'm just going to forget that they exist. So I guess this one.
I think Trevorrow's would have been more memorable, and there would have been aspects that what I would have at least liked. Whereas in this version, there's nothing that I can even I can't even muster to think of this movie. Like, you know how when Peter says that, oh, when he thinks of a certain franchise, I only think of certain movies. When I think of Star Wars, I don't think of this movie.
Me neither. But like, I feel like there's things in that film that just would have made me angry. Even more so than this one. Like, her being with Poe, it's just so stupid. And I can really get over that.
What were the other ones?
Hux being like a Jedi cultist?
Oh,
that's weird.
I thought you were going to say a Jedi. I'm like, what?
Oh, Finn is a Jedi in this movie. Or Finn has Force powers.
I mean, sorry, Hux. Did I say Finn?
No, but
no. You said Hux.
Okay,
you said Hux.
I just remembered.
Yeah. I completely forget he's a Jedi too. And in both of them, Kylo Ren ends up dying. But at least in this one, I feel like the scenes would be better. I feel like in everything I've read of Duel of Fates, he's just angry the whole time. Like, there's literally nothing to him character-wise. Where with this one, you at least get that scene with him and Han, and him as Ben Solo is awesome. I actually really like him as redeemed Ben Solo. And I hate the fact that they killed him. I hate it so much. Like, what's so crazy to me is, again, where's the fucking corporate synergy? I 100% would see an animated series following these events where it's like fucking Kylo Ren and Rey and the rest of the gang, and like Kylo Ren's kind of like trying to redeem himself as a person, so he's going around the galaxy like saving people.
So the last season of The Last Airbender.
Yeah, basically, but stretch that shit out for like 4 seasons.
I just think, look, as far as like the different versions of it, I guess JJ's, but I don't know. To me, I think just because so much of this movie in particular is just the exact same thing that we've seen before, I just would have preferred Kylo staying the villain, if nothing else, for just doing something fucking different. I don't know. Like,
I would have enjoyed the fact that they had like this massive final battle on where's it called? Coruscant, the whole Finn storyline. I would have liked everything with like.
By the way,
Coruscant,
I'm sorry, I haven't read the
Finn.
script, so I don't really know much of anything.
By the way, the movie Duel of Fates had way more screen time for Rose.
Oh yeah, Rose was actually in it, but then like, there's other shit that I just like. I feel everything related to Rey and Kylo Ren and Poe I would have hated. Like
more than this?
Yeah, I think more than this.
That's hard to imagine.
Because I at least like some of the stuff with Kylo Ren. Poe stuff isn't terrible. It's just
Not
barely
good enough.
there and just not really expanded upon. And Rey, they really shot. Either way, Rey's story is shit, I think, in both.
So this is an interesting question for you, Peter. At the heart of it, why do you think that script made Kathy Kennedy say "fuck off"? Duel of Fates.
I don't know. Honest to God, maybe it's the Palpatine thing. I honestly don't know.
Who instigated Palpatine coming back?
JJ. That was all JJ. Trevorrow even said, like, I never even had the thought of bringing back Palpatine. He said, like, that thought never even crossed my mind.
I don't think anyone had that thought.
And he's barely in this movie.
That should
too.
tell you
I mean,
something.
But
we've been in this movie for an hour and 10 minutes, and so far there's only been one Palpatine scene.
But that's the reason why I was so depressed when the trailer dropped, is because bringing Palpatine back is just about the least creative, least interesting, just wait, that's like the Star Wars fan that goes, but you killed Snoke, you killed the big bad guy, so that means there's nothing to do for the next film. Like that, the level of thinking is we need a big bad guy, big old bad scary guy that shoots lightning, or else we don't have a movie. That's when I knew, like, okay, this is shit.
Besides it being the least interesting thing, I think that was it was also just the single worst decision to make, because that the decision to bring back Palpatine broke this movie into a million pieces. It broke everything. It broke the storyline. It broke the characters. It just it ruined everything.
It ruined Rey's character. It ruined Kylo's character, because again, the most interesting questions I left with after Last Jedi was like, what does a supreme leader Kylo Ren look like? I don't know. Like, I genuinely, this film didn't show me any of that. I wanted to see, what the galaxy looked like with him in charge. How did he run the First Order? Because he's like this volatile, broken, sort of childish individual. So
almost like a Joffrey
how does
of
that
sorts.
go? Yeah. So how does the Joffrey of the Star Wars universe, when he's in charge, how does that look?
You know what would have been interesting? Like him.
Oh, this fight
like
is so contrived.
Yes, but like having the galaxy at a great divide, because like it turns out Kylo Ren is actually a good leader for the whole entire galaxy, and like that further creates a shift in like people joining the resistance.
What the fuck was the point of
like
that scene? What was the point of that? I'm sorry. I'm in real time getting more angrier as we go on. Like, I didn't even remember that scene happened, and I'm just thinking that didn't need to exist. What was the point of that? Why did Finn and Poe just have a fight? I'm not Leia. That's for damn sure. Okay.
It comes out of fucking nowhere. I know. Go ahead, Kyle.
I'm sorry, Kyle. I'm getting pissed.
I think that would have been a far better thing to do with Kylo and his situation of where he is with the First Order, because like I don't know, that would have been something unique and different, because like Vader and everybody like that with Palpatine, everyone feared him. Everybody feared, and everybody knew that obviously this is a bad guy who must be stopped. But what if Kylo Ren was actually a good leader for the galaxy?
Or you could do like a Trump thing. Like for the majority of the galaxy, or not even the majority, but for a certain section of the galaxy, shit's running real smooth. But for another section of the galaxy, shit's way worse than it's ever been. And the difficulty is just convincing that other side to be like,
No, this is bad.
Yeah, this is bad. Like
I mean, wasn't that in some points the purpose of Canto Bight, showing that there are, people in the galaxy
and
who
again,
are
you could have expanded on that in 9, but no, we got nostalgia. I just don't get the point of like nostalgia only films. If I really had that much nostalgia, I would just pop in the original films and fucking watch them. Like, I don't...
Like, literally replay... Like, the music, while it's supposed to indicate, like, Vader, Empire, and all that stuff, it only makes sense to play that if somebody was redeemed.
Also, why the fuck would Palpatine keep an Imperial vault next to his fucking throne room in the Death Star and not in the Imperial Palace? Like, what the fuck was the point of it? What?
The whole point was just to see the Death Star again.
If anything, it would have been a place to store his galactic whiskey.
And you know what? It's not enough that we have to see the actual carcass of the Death Star. Well, we basically get another fucking Death Star with the damn cannons, and we see, guess what? A planet getting blown up.
It's 1,000 Death Stars.
Oh my god.
Like, this is the extent of the creativity in JJ Star Wars films. Starkiller Base, it's not a Death Star. It's a bigger Death Star. With Rise of Skywalker, it's not another Death Star. It's 1,000 Death Stars. Again, her fall to the dark side would make sense if she, like, was kind of a dark person, so to speak. Like, the only reason there was a risk of Luke turning to the dark side was because he was very imperfect. Like, he was whiny, he'd complain, he was unhinged, he was impulsive,
impatient,
very, yeah. and he and also he had that emotional connection to his father. So it's like, okay, there's something here. There's no emotional connection between Rey and Palpatine. When Luke found out he was related to Vader, that broke him because he couldn't feel like he could kill his father. When Rey found out she was related to Palpatine, her first words were, "I'm going to kill him." Like,
oh, poor Adam Driver. Imagine being Adam Driver and him having to say these lines.
I love the memes where it's like, Adam Driver admitted to the hospital today with fractures in several parts of his spine for carrying the whole trilogy on his back. He's really strong if he just fucking broke it like that.
And by the way, I wanted to say this earlier on, but it's this whole notion that, the sequel trilogy was a wash, and it was just like, I hate how it's been so, sabotaged, and not sabotaged, but it's just been so hijacked to form some narrative. Like, the trilogy was ultimately broken because of this movie and this movie alone.
I mean, I will say that I've said before this film came out, long before this film came out, I said, to me, the trilogy as a whole will officially be a success if I end up liking episode 9, at least at the bare minimum, more than Force Awakens. That obviously did not happen. But at the end of the day, like, I adore The Last Jedi, so this trilogy existing made that film happen, so it will always be worth it to me in that sort of sense.
So do we like this fight or what?
It's just another fight.
It's too long.
There's no build up to it.
Yeah.
They've been fighting the entire film. If there was actual tension between them throughout the entire film, and then boom, it explodes at this moment. Wow, that's cool. But they've been fucking throwing lightsabers at each other the whole time. And Alexis, we've talked about this. The whole point of the Force connection thing, the whole reason Ryan designed it that way was that he wanted the protagonist and antagonist to interact in a way where they couldn't just start, throwing lightsabers at each other. They couldn't just immediately resort to violence. And then the first thing that happens when JJ incorporates that into this film, he makes it so that they can fight. Like, so, oh god.
I think this is one of the only parts of the movie that's like actually slowing down the pace.
Yeah, which is funny.
Which I kind of like the sequence because of it. It's weird.
I like that there's no music too.
Yeah.
But again, this would feel so much better if the film had just been building tension and then boom, here it's exploding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that scene of him like almost running her over with the ship, like that shouldn't have happened because he's obviously trying to
kill her.
Yeah. Like, what is he trying to do? Is he trying to for her to join him, or is he trying to kill her? Like, what's going on?
Is he trying to kill himself? Murder suicide? What's going on?
Also, again, we keep having to attack, J.J. Abrams' lack of creativity. But, like, why is Rey wearing basically the exact same thing as Episode 7?
Yeah.
That's where I think Duel of the Fates is, like, better because...
They would have had costumes, yeah.
Yeah. And there was, like, a costume bit where her costume was black, much in the kit. Again, it's like calling back to Luke.
I actually don't like that, but I mean,
really,
no,
okay,
because it's just the same shit as Luke. I don't want to see the same shit over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Give her new and interesting. She had different interesting costumes in The Last Jedi, I think.
Oh yeah,
she had a couple.
Yeah, I liked what's it called? Her and the gray bit when she
Surprise,
was on
motherfucker. Oh, she did. Oh no, we hardly knew you. I think I'm really alone in this. I think the best way to have used Leia was to start the film off with her dead.
You're not alone.
Oh,
you're not
for
alone.
Sure.
You're not alone. I was thinking of a different movie.
Yeah.
No.
You're not alone.
No. Because Carrie Fisher died, right?
Yeah. That's the only
like,
reason. If she was still alive, I wouldn't be like, nah, fuck her. Don't include her in the ninth one.
Yeah. Like, if you really don't have anything at all, don't just throw shit together. Like,
yeah.
I think
so stupid.
I don't know if we were who I was talking to, but we were mapping it out together. Like, when you think about it, Leia's death being at the beginning of the movie, having already have died off screen. Let's just say the movie begins and she died recently. You already start off.
You could have opened on her funeral.
You could have opened that, but you also set off different characters on different journeys with Rey and Poe, especially, and Kylo. Like, that could have set so many things off the trigger,
Because at that point, Kylo is officially alone. And Rey is officially alone. And Poe has to take on the leadership role as far as leader of the resistance.
And if you still need an older statesman to help him guide him, there's Lando Calrissian right there, which also would have given him a bigger role too.
Yeah, that's why I think it would have better she died off in the beginning, just because I really do like that scene where Poe finally does become the leader of the resistance, and you get that scene with Lando going, with Poe going I don't know what to do.
Oh, you mean the scene in the end of this movie? More, okay.
And Lando goes,
gotcha.
Yeah, neither did we. We just had each other on this.
But that
would have been so impactful.
That should have been the whole arc. He should have been struggling big time as far as second guessing himself about how to lead. And we start at the beginning of the film with that, and then when you have that at the very end, then it's okay, that's the arc coming full circle. And again, that's where it was at the beginning.
And this wasn't done by design, but Ryan left it beautifully in Last Jedi, where really
perfect. Because Force Awakens, he's the hotshot flyboy, and then from Last Jedi, he goes from hotshot flyboy to learning how to be a leader.
But I also mean in the sense of giving closure to the character of Leia. I think Last Jedi left it beautifully.
That as well. Yeah. I didn't need to see just I don't need to see her literally die, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of all they did with the character as far as including her.
Right. And then also, like, your Star Wars, you have things like Disney Plus. Like, to me, what I always thought was a cool idea, like, if you can't finish Leia's story in the films, you can do an animated film. Put it on Disney Plus. There. I mean,
did you guys see the artwork I sent you for the Calrissian Chronicles?
Yeah.
I love that.
That shit looks amazing. Like, I would watch that shit in like 2.5 seconds. Oh my god. I'm gonna send it again just in case you guys don't remember, because that shit
and also
is awesome.
Also, just the artwork on those posters look great as well.
This is the poster. This is the kind of posters I wanted for the new trilogy. But like, just looking at these posters, just like from the characters, just how goofy and 70s they are. You can tell, like, okay, whoever made these fucking understands. Like, okay, he gets
Star Wars,
or at least to me, the way I like Star Wars, my flavor of Star Wars.
Also, I like the fact that Shirley Bassey plays L3.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
I think that's pretty cool.
See, this scene is good.
I like this scene.
Yeah. Did you see the edit of General Grievous jumping into the water?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that shit's hilarious.
We're what is this? We're at
Fight Collection.
We're at 125, and we've reached a good scene, everybody.
Yay! But again,
also
there was also
but I hate the scene after this. Oh my god.
Yeah, but there was also no build up to this.
Yeah.
Like, the entire film, he's behind a mask, just taunting Rey, and then he gets stabbed, and he's like, "I'm a good guy now," and it's like just out of nowhere, and it feels like everything that was built up to in The Last Jedi, they kind of, when they came to this film, they're like, okay, all that shit's built up now, we don't have to continue it. Like, no, you have to continue building. That's why the kiss at the end kind of feels out of place, because, like, I definitely think in Last Jedi they were building romantic tension, but they don't continue it in this film.
Yeah.
At all. And it just comes back out of nowhere at the end, and it's like, okay, fine addition to my collection.
But what was I gonna say? Okay, I like the fact that Harrison Ford can't be bothered to get a haircut to match what he had in.
He
The
can't be
Force
bothered to
Awakens.
shave.
That. Hell no.
Be thankful that he was actually in this movie.
Yeah.
As I say, oh, fine, I'll be in the movie.
That's how you know the guy's a professional, because most of the time he cannot give a shit, but he always gives like 110%. And there's other actors that don't do that. Like Bruce Willis, if he doesn't give a shit, you can tell.
Like when he did Cop Out.
Like when he did any film after, like, I don't know, 2007.
Someone made a theory that whenever Bruce Willis is bald in his movies, you know he's half-assing the work. But whenever he has hair, he's doing all the work.
That's just saying he actually gave a shit in his old movies, and now he doesn't give a shit. That's all it's saying. When I saw this in the theaters, I was just like, again.
Oh my god.
But, like, you know what's the most depressing book I own? Like, easily. The art book for The Force Awakens.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's so many awesome designs and different amazing ideas. And then you look at what they go with, and you're just like, oh, you just went back to the old designs. And I didn't get episode 9 artwork book or whatever. But, like, it's just so depressing. Okay, fine. You want a giant, massive fleet, and all of them are just, they're all mini Death Stars. At least give them a cool new ship design. Don't go back to literally the exact same one as the original trilogy, except you kind of have red paint on the side. Like, it's so boring. Just new ship designs. Just anything. Come on.
Also, is it weird? Like, I'm supposed to feel something for Leia dying. I feel absolutely nothing.
I'm telling you, I think you would feel more if the movie just started with her already dead. Like, to me, in my mind, because like sometimes when like with these films, if I don't like them, I start thinking in my head like, okay, what would I do?
Yeah.
Like, I think a good way for the film, like, you start at the funeral of Leia, and then that shit gets like raided by Kylo Ren and the Knights of Ren, and then you sort of have like a moment with Kylo Ren, like at the grave, like talking after they've like dispersed, after the rebels have run away, and then boom, you that's kind of where it sets off and stuff like that.
Also, like, again, like where I was completely okay with killing off Chewbacca in the crux of like using it to boost up a character, you could use the Leia's death to greatly impact Poe and what it means for him to be a leader.
The whole group, like they could have used Leia as like their, I guess, inspiration to like continue the fight.
Wait.
Oh my god, I can't with this scene.
Wait. Pork.
Oh my god.
Okay, that's it. That's all. I think it's so funny how it's one shot of a porg and then that's it. Like, that's it. You never see the porg. You never hear them.
Oh wow.
It's so funny.
It's like the way that it like completely dismisses, like in like those quick shots like that. That's where and this right here is where I think J.J. Abrams hates The Last Jedi.
I don't think he does. I think it's a natural progression.
Yeah, at least this same for me. And I didn't really. I know he's like. It does sound like he's saying jokes to The Last Jedi, like that scene right here where he says, "Yeah, you should show more respect to this lightsaber."
But the whole point of The Last Jedi was that he was wrong to do that.
Yes, exactly. He admits it here.
Is why is he so fucking blue?
Because
like,
J.J. Abrams loves blue. The whole beginning of the movie is blue.
Oh my god, that wig.
Oh, right, yeah. Oh, and I think I said some rather mean things about Mark Hamill's performance upon initial viewing, didn't I?
Yeah.
I thought it was fine.
Well, that's just the natural progression of you, Peter. You just naturally say
looks
things.
like he doesn't want to be there.
Yeah, no, his performance is not good in this film. It's just not.
Oh, you said it was terrible. That's what you said.
It's terrible. Oh. It is.
When I look at shots like this, it baffles me that this got an Oscar nom for visual effects.
It's because it was Star Wars.
And it wasn't Marvel, so that's the requirement for Oscars. Oh, and we need to talk about this. So, it's because you're a Palpatine.
Like this whole like what he's saying is like getting me mad because of what we were talking about yesterday.
Oh, and then Leia had to be a badass lightsaber wielding Jedi. I really hate that. I really do.
This is like the thing I was looking forward to the most, and it's only like 2 seconds, and it's not even like that great.
Yeah.
But whatever. I never viewed Leia as like this lightsaber wielding individual. I always like viewed her like, that's why I liked when she was a general. I viewed her as more as like a tactician. Like, she's really smart. She's not like a brawler type individual.
I like that she learned how to do it because I feel like at a certain point she would have been like, yeah, like I want to learn type of thing, and obviously like she didn't continue it, which seems for her character, you know?
I like the fact that she learned the Force. I don't like the fact that she learned like lightsaber stuff. Like, to me, when I view her as like a Force wielder, I view it as more in like
a more
Yoda type of thing?
Yeah, in a more intellectual way, not in a figure form 6 of the lightsaber. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Like, they didn't really like elaborate on her learning to use the Force. It was just like this scene, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like I like either or. Like, I like her learning both. I just wish that we would have gotten more of it. And not just her wielding the light, like her doing stuff with it, you know?
Yeah. Oh, I
Okay.
despise this scene, and
Yes.
Alexis loves this scene, so fuck you.
Well, I guess fuck me as well.
Yeah, no,
'cause
fuck you. This scene
Dude,
sucks.
I literally cringed at this scene. I rolled my eyes. I was like,
It's
"Ugh."
so eye roll inducing.
It's the least
Oh
eye roll
my
inducing of
God.
all the other ones. I mean, when the whole movie is
No,
nothing,
it's
when the whole
so
movie is
eye-roll
nothing but a
inducing.
copycat. I mean, at this point, that just sealed the deal. I wanted to say a couple of things
It's
though, in
literally
regards
the
to
fucking
the
Empire
scene that's
shit.
happening right now. So Luke, did no one catch what Luke just said right there? Where it's like 1,000 generations live in you now, but this is your fight. This is your fight. And then at the end of the movie, literally all of the Jedi, whatever, come to her rescue, and I am all of the Jedi. What?
Oh God, I hate.
Can JJ not think? And then also, are we just gonna sidestep this whole issue that Luke and Leia knew that she was a Palpatine?
Oh my god.
I hate that so. Oh my God, I hate it so much. As a whole, like her storyline should not have been, I'm really related to a Palpatine and that scares me. It should have been, I'm a nobody and that scares me. Like I'm second guessing my worth because everyone says that I'm worthless basically, and the struggle is finding her self-worth, and that like no, she is worthy to fight this fight.
Yes, I was thinking.
Yeah. But like that basically should have been the storyline, not just like I'm a Palpatine offspring clone, and that means I can do Force lightning, and I'm kind of scared now.
Lightning.
So we like, because we know she's not turning to the dark side. Like,
But it also
not
just
happening.
it creates gaps in logic with the entire story arc of Luke in the last movie. That wasn't the reason why he didn't train Rey.
Yeah. Oh, that's so stupid. It's like, because I think they tried. It seems like they tried to make it like, oh, the reason why he was afraid to train her was because of the Palpatine, and it's like, no, it has nothing. The film was very clearly about his own faults and his own failures and coming to terms with that.
Again, it's stuff like that is what leads me to believe that JJ was jealous.
Because it's so blatant, right? Like it's so blatant. How do you not realize how this entirely contradicts a major character decision that was made in just the last film? Bye, Rose.
Bye, Rose.
Hold on, maneuver. Oh my God, I'm cringing. Okay, that right there. If there was, I think JJ's a nice dude, and I really just think he made the movie that he thought was necessary, and I just disagree heavily with it. But if there was ever any sort of evidence you could use for your argument, it's that hold-on maneuver line, because it is so unnecessary, and it's literally
so
just
contrived.
there to say like, we agree with you that those that say the hold-on maneuver is BS, but we're just going to try and fix that quote-unquote plot hole and say why we can't do that. Because they literally call it the hold-on maneuver, which is like that's like a fan phrase.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's weird. It's so weird. I don't like it. I hate it so much. For Leia.
For more,
She did.
for more content on Peter's hatred for fan life, go check out Ready Player One.
Oh my God. Oh, I hate Ready Player One. Okay, I know I always bring it up, but that film literally had the line, "A fanboy knows a hater." And it wasn't ironic. Oh my God.
I'm actually really sad about that. She had to fly the X-Wing with that helmet on, just because I feel like that's something that should have been built up. Having like that helmet on.
Oh yeah, because that's kind of, was it? Well, nothing. Yeah, nothing here has any time to breathe. No moments have impact. These moments don't have impact because the characters don't react to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like going back to the Kylo finding out that Palpatine was every voice inside his head, he doesn't react.
Yeah.
Like, just looking at it, that line is clearly there, not for Kylo, but for the audience. And that's why it pulls you out of the movie, and it just doesn't make sense.
Also, I wanted to add on, I find Exegol to be, aside from just boring and lazy, it's ugly. And I hate how it's lit.
It's blue.
It's
like
blue.
And what is it with
Everything
JJ
in
and
this movie is
atmosphere
blue.
battles? Why can't we just have an actual space battle?
Yeah, he only does atmosphere battles. He never does space battles. Why?
Star Trek.
He did more space battles in Star Trek.
And this is, to me,
also,
look, I can't let this go. This is easily the worst single battle sequence in all of Star Wars because
I was gonna say that.
Because the scale should really, rival some of the best, but in all reality, this is the worst. And why, Peter?
It's so boring. It's so boring. Like when they have that shot of like all the ships showing up, and I got really excited. I'm like, oh my god, like here we go. We're gonna see it. They do. The space battle is over. Like in the next shot, like it's literally nothing. Literally nothing. And
this is so ugly. Like it looks kind of cool, but like you can't really see this.
Yeah, like you can't see shit. And then there are these like evidently.
I like the statues. I don't know.
They're fine.
That's what I mean. Like it would have looked cool, but you can't see it.
But then again, already you have I think a much cooler design, in a different planet, and it serves the same purpose it's already established. Malachor, remember the planet?
She's in the movie.
Remember Malachor?
Yeah.
The planet where they went to go activate that ancient Sith weapon with the holocron?
Yeah, where it's like all red.
Yeah.
And they had the pyramids and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Oh my gosh.
There's Jana. Again, I forgot she was in the movie. Oh my god.
This part right here. I think everyone in our theater cringed at this part right here. That's not how the Force works.
And that's another thing. It's like I don't know what to do with the character. Give him Force powers, make him Force sensitive, because Jedis are fun and interesting inherently. So if you don't know what to do with the character, hand him a lightsaber. It's like, no.
I was so excited for this scene. Like when I saw it in the trailer, I'm like, yes. Like riding on the ship. That's awesome.
That is cool, right?
It is cool.
If you had told me this, like, okay, that's fucking cool. Like they're charging on top of a ship, but there's just no build up to it. Like it's kind of fucking lame. Like I remember being excited for Sith Troopers. You see like 2 Sith Troopers. Like this is it. These are the shots. And then that's it. I love BB-8 running with them.
Yeah.
This is like one of the concepts, like you said, that I really liked about the movie. Just them charging via Braveheart on top of a Star Destroyer. I really like that concept.
It should have been the Fathiers though, just to bring it around.
Well, it's like, what's really interesting, and I just had this thought, when thinking about how, and believe me, I spent so much, brain power thinking of just small ways you could have made a really great movie out of whatever this was. But there are so many wonderful different characters, creatures, species, soldiers, armies of things. And the way that I think would have been a nice way to have, first of all, this should have been called Rise of the Resistance. That would have been a much better, apt title for this movie. And I mean, this should have been the ultimate culmination of all of the different things we've seen throughout the movies, like uniting and standing up and actually using them. Like there are things like, I don't know, old like separatist droid ships you could have reactivated or found. You could find some clones who are still somehow alive. Mandalorians, for how much that gets hyped up. You could have recruited them in the battle. Like, imagine all of that. Bounty hunters, pirates, all of the people.
Yeah, you could have still had this same third act, but like, first of all, you have to have a ground battle too, because I mean, if you want it to be this big thing, like you could have, like, let's say this is what you could have done. You could have had the Millennium Falcon. They have something that the Knights of Ren are trying to get at. So the Knights of Ren are in their own little ships, and they're chasing the Millennium Falcon, and and it's like a single shot throughout this entire battle. And you know, they ride by the fucking Mandalorian spaceships, and you know, they're fighting the fucking stormtroopers, and then you ride by the ships that are from episode 1, the yellow ones. The Naboo starfighters, you know, and you have like all these different ships, you know, some of them help out and stuff as they're trying to escape. Like, there's little things. You could have had droidicas. Yeah, there's little shit. You could have had fucking reprogrammed droidicas.
Like reprogrammed battle like droids, which used to be the bad guys, reprogrammed to fight against the Final Order or the First Order, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like,
it could have been
close
Palpatine's past misdoings coming back to bite him in the ass with the droids.
Yeah, and also clones. That would have been that would have been like
if you're gonna bring in new characters, the actor, he's kind of like at the perfect age too, right? Like
Tamara Morrison, yeah, he's great. Like, honestly, like, if you were to like this is supposed to be like the closing of like the saga, and that's the way that they were supposed to like market this whole thing. Just do that, you know, but no, they didn't, you know, and I was surprised. I thought that, because
you know what would have worked? It just hit me. You bring back the actor, right? And you have him have on their adventures, Finn sort of strike up a bond with him. They meet.
That would have been amazing,
because they would have sort of had this kinship, and that they were sort of bred to be warriors, and sort of, you know, they both were kind of betrayed in a sense by that, and there just would have been this sort of like camaraderie, you know. And then maybe that's when he sort of inspires Finn to be like, no, you don't give up, this is your fight. And then Finn goes on to lead the Stormtrooper
also,
rebellion.
Like other people, where are all the Mon Cala? We could have had Chewbacca go and get his Wookiee friends, like Wookiees in battle. Like, oh my god, just think of the possibility there.
This could have been Return of the Kings times
of infinity.
50.
It would have been oh god. By the way,
this would like
I love the baller move of like, who the fuck are these people? We don't know. Who cares? in the Coliseum.
But I mean, portal scene from Endgame, like, that would have been like geek blasting awesomeness.
Yeah, you could have had a ground battle, and then that's where you have like all, you know, the Mandalorians and their jetpacks.
Dude,
you know,
I would have loved to see the Mandalorians.
The fucking Wookiees like running into battle, like next to droidicas, honestly, and like all kinds of shit.
Honestly, I would have loved to see them bring the Gungans.
Oh yeah,
back.
Bring them back.
Like a fucking Gungan. Yes, of course. You could have had a Gungan like in one of the Naboo starfighters and shit like that. You could see
like Yusa going down or something like that, and just like charging, and just, I don't know, it would have been completely not poetic, but it would have just been like this massive send off of like.
If you're looking for a way to close off
before.
the series, I mean, you know, there's that.
So much was thrown at the wall, and it's like a lot of it's just not interesting.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter. Like, a lot of it just doesn't matter.
Any Star Wars fan, like even the ones that I would disagree with massively and would disagree with me massively, would probably agree with all the shit we're saying right here. It's like, yeah, just do this shit, do that shit.
And doing a massive move like that, like incorporating all that stuff, could possibly unite like the prequel lovers and like the original trilogy lovers. And I think that would have been a unifying thing. That's pretty much what Star Wars like elicits, that feeling of like passion about a story. I bet you
100%.
Like
if like and before Peter groans or whatever, I don't praise him as much as he used to. But Dave Filoni would do that shit, all that fan stuff.
No, I agree.
If you were making this movie, all that
would.
crap would have been shoved in here.
100%, 100%. And that's the thing. All you would need was the continuous story arcs from The Last Jedi, like the way that I feel anyways that they should have been done. And I've said a million times already in this particular audio commentary how I feel that should have went. But then combine that with like the fan service action of that you usually see in like Dave Filoni's work, or even like Rogue One, Clone Wars, even like The Mandalorian and shit like that. If you would have just combined those two, it would have been a satisfying ending for every Star Wars
I bet
fan.
you if Filoni was involved, he would have shoved Rex and Ahsoka in there somewhere.
Oh hell yeah!
Or you know what? You would have had Tamara Morrison play Rex.
Yeah. Or just, I don't even think he doesn't have to play unknown, like former clone trooper, but just have him in there as like a former clone trooper. And I think, oh god.
But you know what? There actually, I don't know if you. There was this. One of the. This is real. This thing, but there's one of the original.
Wait. Oh wait. Okay, come on.
One of the original.
Wait, this is actually something like good. Ben Solo.
Ben Solo.
Ben Solo.
I love him. Okay.
Yeah,
one of the original 501st Legion clone troopers. That was Anakin's and Rex's, battalion.
Yeah,
that shot.
They were actually captured by Count Dooku, and they were frozen, time frozen, right? And there's this comic thing that happens on some cantina characters from The Force Awakens, where there's like this treasure to Count Dooku's hidden treasure, or a treasure hunt to Count Dooku's hidden treasure. And Kix, which was the medical clone trooper that you see in the series, was the one that was kidnapped, and who was the exact same age as he was back then, because he was time frozen.
It's so good.
Okay, no one's listening, but that would have been the
template for. This is a really great scene, man.
That would have been
because I agree.
That would have been the template for what Peter was talking about. But yeah, I mean, I don't really think it's a great scene because I don't give a shit. I mean, at this point, turn it off. I mean, I'm done with this. So it's shot well. It's cool, but I don't care. I really don't.
But I for me, it's not even because I don't think the action's that good. I don't think it's shot that well. But I just love Ben Solo.
Yeah.
I love the acting. Adam Driver just does
and
such
I like
a
that
good
he
job.
actually used the Force Skype well.
Yeah, that to me, that was the only interesting use of that in this film.
Yeah.
Actually,
and also, when they're looking at each other.
Right here.
Yeah.
Just them lifting lightsabers together at the same time. Oh my god, if it was built up perfectly. Ah!
But no, before that, them looking at each other and her seeing him,
Yeet.
seeing Ben, so good.
So a dyad, the fuck is that?
No, they had so many different ideas for what they wanted to do with this shit, and they threw all of them at the wall. They filmed all of them, and then just sort of stitched it together like a Frankenstein's monster. What is the motivation? What does Palpatine want in this film? I legitimately don't know.
He wants to either
I don't
die,
think the writers
and
knew.
then he wants to.
Yeah. At first, he wanted to kill Rey, but then he says, "I never wanted to kill you. I wanted you to kill me, and for you to be my vessel." And then, no, not really. But you guys are a dyad, so I'm gonna take your Force life.
And yet they're still alive.
What he wants makes no sense.
Yeah.
Oh no, that character.
Yeah. And then this is the Cap. It's Sam on your left. He literally turns left.
This is straight out of Endgame. This whole thing here.
But it's so poorly
it
done.
Doesn't mean shit.
I'm not the biggest fan of Endgame in the world, but that third act, holy shit! Did they know what they were doing with that third act?
Mm-hmm.
And here, like this right here.
Rona. Just kidding.
The music is still great, though.
That's a lot of ships, and that's really cool. But I'm not gonna see any of them in action right now.
They're just there to be there.
No, none. They're just there for a cool screensaver.
Yeah.
This is how my dad felt when he watched At World's End, when the Brethren Court didn't join on the fight.
But that was a cool fight, though.
And it's like it doesn't really have like a huge, like when I first saw this, like yeah, it was cool and stuff, but like we, like how you guys are saying, like bring in Mandalorians, bring in like all of these people that we know,
And
but like we
them?
don't see any of them here.
If you're gonna do
It's just ships.
if you're just gonna do a fan service moment, do it right.
Yeah.
Like,
Honestly,
go all the way.
It shouldn't have been a big army. It should have just been the main characters, Poe, Finn, and Rey. Like, have them finally work together. I know we see them the whole time here, but I feel like if they went with the story of Poe being the leader, I feel like he would have been separated from Rey and Finn if they had to do like some other side quest. And again, just bring them together.
The fact that it's Lando yet again coming in with the army on the Millennium Falcon, like this really is just Return of the Jedi 2.0.
Mm-hmm.
You know what did it better? Spike Hits 3D. That's what did it better.
They did do it better.
Yeah, they actually did.
Did somebody call a loon?
Did he change clothes, or did he
Also,
already have that?
What's up with Palpatine's look in this movie? Also, you don't let Ian McDiarmid go full ham on this movie.
No, like, that's the thing. Even the little things that I was like, well, at least this will be fun. Like, I thought at least, Billy D being back will be fun, but, like, he really isn't. He's just kind of there.
This is, I think, one of the most. Being back. This is probably the most single stupid thing I've seen in any Star Wars movie.
I hate this so much.
What the fuck?
But I thought, what's Ian McDiarmid being back? At least that'll be fun. But it's not. He's just kind of there. Like, he doesn't go full McDiarmid.
Well, this
full Palpatine.
This mega lightning thing. Again, it just turns the Force back into a superpower. And then, okay, so he's able to disable an entire armada of ships, but all Rey has to do is have 2 lightsabers, and he can't deflect that.
I was so pissed off. Like, of course, the way that he dies is yet again just having his lightning deflected back at him. Like, nothing changes. Everything's the same. Like, oh my god. It's the same shit every goddamn time.
My only disappointment in this scene about hearing all the past Jedis is that they didn't add Leia's voice in it. Like, why not? You had it in the trailer, by the way, of her saying always, and they don't add it here. I feel like that should have been the one for her.
These are your really final steps, right? Fuck off, JJ. What the fuck? I mean, that's supposed to. I just realized because I have the subtitles on that Obi-Wan says these are your final steps, and I'm like, as a way to like pad what he, I guess, was teasing to. Remember, everybody had these theories of like Rey being connected to Obi-Wan because he said to her in a vision, "These are your first." Go fuck off, JJ. Honestly, what?
They don't even name Ahsoka. They say female Jedi, but they name.
That's some shade right there.
Okay, that is rude. Yeah, offensive.
Isn't there some like random Jedi they included in the list? I have no
idea like Luminara and
Dooley
for whatever reason was included in this.
There's one that says like Analia or something. I don't know. Like it was a weird. Yeah,
Ayla Sakura was Adi Gallia was included. These are like third-rate, no-name Jedi who were killed in the Clone Wars.
Why them? That's so weird.
Why?
Why not Plo Koon?
I don't like that thing. Oh, whatever. Okay.
We don't like this.
I mean,
movie.
really, I didn't get that impression.
But look, did we see any of these ships do anything?
No.
They're just
Because the battle's already over.
It's the same thing as The Force Awakens. It just cuts away real quick to the ships moving, and then that's good enough. Let's go back to the fight.
Look,
I
she
am
is Iron
inevitable.
Man. Look, I am Iron Man.
Seriously.
I said this in my review, but I mean, I love anime, so it's still kind of entertaining to me, but it's
Except for the fact that I don't consider Star Wars to be anime, and this just went full-blown anime. It's just, this isn't what it is at all.
Hamehameha.
At this point in the theater, I was done. I was done.
I honestly just can't help but laugh.
You know what I am? Those people who are just getting a damn boulder shoved in their face. Look at that.
Oh no, those poor
That's a
people.
nice
Oh shit!
Random
Oh
people
god.
that didn't do anything to help, but okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Literally, who the fuck are they?
They're dead.
They're dead. That's who they are. This part's funny.
Yeah.
Look at
It's
him.
fucking brutal.
That should have been Hux, but okay.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
The fleet is stuck here? Oh, so that's just a stupid
Yeah,
reason, right?
because-
Like, again, like, they can't fucking fly out? Like, those ships are still manned.
Yeah, it's so stupid. And wait, at the very beginning, didn't they say that they could like bounce the signal from ship to ship?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't they just find another ship?
Like, when that command ship just went down, bounce it to a different ship.
Why didn't it just bounce to, like, that was the whole reason. They were like, it's impossible to find because it could be any ship. And then once we destroy that ship, it could just bounce to another ship. Wasn't that like the whole thing?
Mm-hmm.
So then, okay. Why are they
Because
stranded?
the movie has to make them stranded. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm gonna talk about my most disappointed part in the whole movie, and
Which is?
it's really just the ending where she's in Tatooine.
Oh, we'll get
Oh,
to
God.
that. Oh, shit.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Seriously.
No, but who was it? I think it was you, Peter, or maybe I just saw it on the internet that you said, "Why is she in Tatooine?" It's like she has no connection to it.
Oh, I've said that. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
and I agree with you right there. I thought it should have been in Jakku.
so many of the decisions in this film are made with the audience in mind and not the characters in mind.
Because
The reason why she goes to Tatooine is because the audience has nostalgic feelings for that place.
Mhm.
The reason why a lot of information is like spoken directly at the screen and the characters don't seem to react to them is because they're not for the characters, they're for the audience. It's
And
it's bad.
I really wish it was in Tatooine though, just because when she buries the lightsabers,
Mhm.
I thought of it as, oh, someone from nowhere is going to find these, and then they're gonna make their own story. That's why it should have been in Jakku, which is so disappointing. But
I saw it as fuck these.
I wanted to jump in real
lightsabers.
quick before we move on from this right here, this from Exegol, because as if this wasn't bad enough, at one point, and I'm sure this was real, there were leaks that indicated that the ghosts of Luke and Leia were going to physically join in the fight against the Emperor.
oh, they should have.
They should have?
I don't know. It's just.
I mean, it's
whatever
better
makes
than
it
just
more.
the old lightning trick yet again.
Yeah.
Like it's basically the fucking Charlie Brown in the football gag, like running to hit the football and then it gets pulled out of the way and he fucking lands flat on his ass. That's the same thing with the Palpatine and the lightning. Like he shoots it and then they deflect it back at him and then he shoots it and it gets deflected back at it. Like God. But they had no idea how to like kill or how to end it, and so they just went back to the deflecting thing.
Mm-hmm. Also, I do wish Kylo would have lived, but Rey should have died.
Look at this necrophilia. Disgusting. I like his PJs. They're sick.
Mm.
She looks mad.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
I mean, aren't we all?
And then this is the part where everyone in my theater started to cringe.
It's funny.
It's a kiss of gratitude.
When we saw it, half of the audience was very into it, and half of the audience was very not. And they were audible in their reactions. Both of them. That was funny.
No.
Again, I'm not against them kissing. I just don't think it was built up.
It was not built up at all.
It was not built up. I think it was built up in The Last Jedi, but it needed to continue to be built up in Episode 9 for that kiss to make sense. But it wasn't at all. So it was weird. Really fucking weird. And then he just falls and dies.
I read a long tweet from somebody, and it's like their explanation of her saying why Ben Solo clearly wasn't meant to die until late in editing. One of the things they said was, by the logic of the dyad established earlier in the movie, Ben shouldn't have died when he resurrected Rey. If they're one soul in two bodies, then his life force should have been enough to sustain both of them because they are one.
Theoretically, yeah. And then also, just from like a story perspective and thematic perspective, I especially after The Last Jedi, I felt like this trilogy was about sort of moving forward, and learning from your past mistakes. And I think it would have been it would have been really cool to see Kylo Ren, who kind of had the same trajectory as Darth Vader, instead of, dying an old man, being turned at the last second, he turned much earlier in life. And he didn't fully go down the path that Darth Vader did. Oh, there's Cloud City. Go fuck yourself. And he got to spend the rest of his life sort of becoming a better person. I just think thematically that would have been better.
This is literally straight out of Independence Day.
It's Independence Day, and it's nothing but that shot really depresses me because
only one of them.
It's Jakku, but that one specifically because it's Jakku, and it's like this whole like it's literally like nothing has changed. It's the old war of the fucking Star Destroyer in the dirt with a new Star Destroyer coming down to join it on the dirt. And it just feels like, okay, in 20 years, it's going to be the same thing. And in 30, the same. And it's really depressing. Like, wow, nothing's changed. I don't know. I like Finn's hair in this one.
This part's funny.
I saw this edited, but instead of talking to Zori, it was Finn.
Oh,
I prefer that ending.
That's good.
Ooh, see, I like that. I like the China censored for China. I like that Claude got some love.
Did anyone else
oh
think
God,
that...
kill me! No, this is the worst. Oh God,
I legit thought when Maz called to Chewie, I thought they were gonna kiss. I don't know.
I would have loved that. That would have been so much better. That would have been hilarious. Like she just grabs him and pulls him in.
That's a couple I ship. Maz and Chewie all the way. Right. Come on.
Oh God, that would have been perfect.
My Chewie.
Chewie would have been like, Han's not around to make fun of me anymore. I'm going for it.
I wish I felt for all three of them embracing, but like...
I don't.
But no.
Oh God, here we go.
Oh, this just comes off real creepy.
It's just the most confusing scenes for everyone. Like, what do you mean? What?
Let's find out. Like, it's yeah, I don't know. Oh, she's alive. Oh, How awesome. This is literally the fucking Return of the Jedi. I really hate this. Like, fuck. There's that one bounty hunter that I really like from The Force Awakens. The what's his name? The Crimson Khazar or whatever. Like, why didn't you have the bounty hunters come in and do some fun action scenes?
Oh my god. I forgot about them.
Yeah.
The movie should have cut to credits right here.
Which really should have.
It shouldn't
doing this.
have been made.
God.
So
this is a miniature, by the way. That's pretty cool. This is a miniature.
Oh, cool. Part of the reason why I thought Kylo should have lived instead of Rey is because of this scene too. He should have been the one to go back to Tatooine. Because
But I think people would have had issues with it, like, oh, like you took away the main character and replaced him with Kylo.
No, I know for sure, but this could have said so much without any dialogue. Like, he goes back to Tatooine, putting back the lightsaber there. I feel like it's a way for him to sort of forgive Luke for what he did, but also trying to move on from the past. Because again, he wanted that Anakin lightsaber in the first one, so him burying it, letting it go.
They could have buried it together.
Yes. Also,
think
like,
both of
the
them
fact
should've
that, like, Luke had, like, a final moment with Rey and not Kylo. Like, what?
Yeah, like, honestly, like, it shouldn't have been Luke and Leia's ghosts there. It should have been Kylo.
Yeah. Like, that's ridiculous.
Because that's who she went on the journey with.
Like, that's why Leia died, to save her son. I don't know.
Anakin's
Whatever.
like, get that fucking thing out of the sand. Also this.
And supposedly is a double-edged lightsaber.
This was like a punch to the gut. So it's like, okay, so you could have given her a new lightsaber. You did it. You just waited till the end of the film when no one gives a shit. Oh, this is it. This is the best part of the film right here.
Rey Star Wars.
Rey Sand.
Ray Lucasfilm. LT.
Rey Blue Ghost.
LTD.
Oh my god.
Ray Ghost.
More like STD.
Ray Organa.
Ray
The
Solo.
effect even looks good.
Ray SquarePants. Oh god. Fuck me.
I thought I was gonna cry at this part,
Look,
but
it's two sons. You remember that, don't you? That's nostalgia.
But
You remember.
at the end of it all, I was dumb.
All right, I hate this film.
All right, that was the first time I've seen this movie since seeing it in the theater.
And somehow it's even worse, huh?
It's
Yeah.
yep. I'm ready to throw in the towel and call it a day. How about everyone on the panel?
I still have some feelings I want to get out. It's just, it's really sad that this is how it ended.
Like, at least in the prequels, we got Darth Vader.
There's fun stuff in the prequels. Like with this, it's just, at least with the prequels, they show you shit that you've kind of always wanted to see. So they show you massive battles with Jedi and them doing massive flips and giant droid armies. But with this film in particular, it's like, you've shown me everything I've already seen 1,000 times, only 100 times worse. You threw away just so much potential, and now it's over.
The best thing about this movie is that it makes Last Jedi even better by default.
Yeah. Also,
this is the final stars
a trend.
to me.
It started a trend of the whole "thank you, Rian Johnson" thing on Twitter.
Twice.
So, Yeah.
I think still like the greatest thing that anybody said was that Last Jedi was like crap. What did it say? Something about sorry, I like completely lost it.
Yeah, that's what happens when you watch this movie.
Something about like being the movie that I thought I wanted, and then Rise of Skywalker proving me otherwise.
I think the best part to end off this commentary on, and so where do you guys rank this in all the Star Wars movies?
Dead last.
You guys too?
I think Solo is still last for me. This one at least has Ben Solo. So.
Solo has some fun shit. I'll defend Solo, especially in comparison to this film.
It's the most incompetently made. Okay, it's the most.
This film is so joyless.
It's the most incompetently written script for any Star Wars movie. To me, it's there's almost nothing redeeming about this movie. It's dead last on my list.
I'll take what's your name? You know, who are your people? I don't have people. Han Solo. You know, I'll take that shit over Rey Skywalker any day. Cause that shit, it's dumb, but it's dumb in a fun and funny way. Where
so
this is just
solo,
depressing.
Right?
Yeah.
Han Solo.
But this, no. I really hate this film. I don't like it. But I'm fine with it. Like, we talk about, it sounds like we're all really obsessively hate this film, but in reality, like, we just don't think about this film. Like, the part of me didn't want to do this because I just don't want to think about this film. Like, I'm happy just being like, yeah, episode 8 is where it ends for me. And like, if you like it, that's awesome. But I'm not there with you. So
we literally, I think, because Moreno and I shared this same frustration that literally 7 days after we initially watched the movie back in December, we were like, we would keep thinking about it because we would keep thinking of new things that we didn't like and new things that didn't make sense. But now, none of us thinks about this at all, except for when they bring it up every other week with like more nonsense explanations for things that didn't make sense in the novel or in the dictionary or something. And then we're forced to, oh yeah, that happened again. But it's like, I never think about this. It's as if I never, that's how lightweight it is. It's just how little, it made no impact on me.
It really didn't. Like, there's so many times where it's like, I just forget it exists.
Yes.
Really. And then I'm reminded and I'm like, but it's a Star Wars film. Should I rewatch it? Like, maybe there's more. And it's like, no, I just don't need to. I don't care to. It's just non-existent to me. And that's the thing. There's other, like, I don't care that much about Solo, but I've rewatched it a few times, and there's things I enjoy about it. Same with Rogue One.
The prequels.
Same with Force Awakens.
I guess the prequels in some cases.
The prequels? Yeah. But with this, it's just nothing. Like, nothing whatsoever. It just depresses me. Like, there's nothing there for me. There's little things here and there, but not nearly enough.
At least with Attack of the Clones and the prequels, you could laugh.
This one just gets me mad.
Well, I think more. Yeah, there were parts where I was getting mad, but then just listening to Peter talk right now is, man, you're really depressing. Like, you're really bumming me out, and not blaming you, but you're pretty much just speaking for all of us and how we feel about this. It's just sad. Yeah, Kyle, any last thoughts?
Nope. I threw in my towel the minute the opening crawl started.
Yeah, so did the rest of us. Anyway, thank you, Alexis. Thank you, David. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Kyle, for being here. Thank you all for listening. We have more audio commentaries coming. We're done for today. Stay under the spotlight. Bye.